Hey folks, we've been talking the last several weeks about the importance of keeping our children's hearts. And as homeschoolers, we bleed that verse. That's why most of us homeschool. We want to keep our kids' hearts until we release them either into marriage or out into the world as adults. The first 3 weeks we talked about what causes us to lose our kids' hearts. Maybe we parents provoked our kids to wrath. Our kids may have a seed of rebellion, or the influence of the world becomes so great in our home and in our culture sometimes. But that's the causal side of things. Today let's talk about the curative. And there's a litany of things that we could use here, but I want you just to hone in on one thing today because it's so very, very important, and it's kind of the foundation for everything else that we do. And one of the most important things to recapture our kids' hearts, especially if we feel like we have in some way provoked them to wrath, is to demonstrate humility. And oftentimes out of humility flows the idea of confession. Confession to God, vertically, confession to our children, horizontally. That's a powerful, powerful tool. 1 John 1:9 says, if we confess our sin, He is faithful and He's just to forgive us of our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. And folks, provocation is a sin. We dads especially tend to be guilty of this. We might be angry at our kids without cause, or angry with cause, but we demonstrate that anger in an unbiblical way. Maybe we spent too much time at the office, or we're too inattentive when we're home thinking of what we have to do the next day. So it might not be these great big sins of provocation, but just little things that need to be addressed. We confess that to God. But secondly, we need to confess that to our children, maybe our wife as well. James 5 says, if you were sick or afflicted, call forth the elders. And in that same portion of Scripture, in verse 16, it says, therefore confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that you can be healed. And while the context there is a physical healing, I believe it's also true in an emotional healing, not just for an individual, but for a household. When we go to our kids and say, guys, I feel like I've messed up here. I want to apologize. I want to ask your forgiveness. And then maybe have them gather around and pray for you, like James 5 says. We have done that in my home. I have confessed things to my kids. They've gathered around me to pray to be a better leader. Folks, the goal is not perfection. The goal is seeking toward the mark. And one of the best ways to do that is to lead by humility as an example. For dads, we have sons coming up behind us. And if our sons can see us walking in humility, that will be such a blessing to their future wives and their kids as well. So today, before we get into all the little practical things that we can do to get our kids' hearts back, it starts spiritually. Confession vertically, confession horizontally. And pray that God will bring healing into our homes. This is Kirk Smith with ICHE's Take 5.